You probably didn't turn it in. No.
You start with, this is the truth.
This is a true story, right?
This is a true story and not made up.
Anyway, getting back to the story about my dad and that big old house, his landlord had a lot of acres, thousands of acres, but he let Dad have that house for $30 a month. And he said, I'll never raise the rent, and at all. And so then he sold the property. He leased the property for 100 years. And he said, I need that house out of there, so I'll give it to you. And I said, okay, well, thank you. But he said, I can't afford to move it because it costs like $5,000 then to move it. So he said, we'll move it, we'll tear it down and move it. So when we're tearing it down, he said, get the the ends, in other words, so that we could tie it and pull it and it all crumbled. So we had just removed some of the ends, the corners, when Carla was coming, Hurricane Carla was coming. And he said, well, I have to go into town and I'll be back for you. And it was me, my grandpa that couldn't hear, my stepbrother that didn't speak. So he goes and it gets dark and the hurricane comes and shaking the whole house and everything. And I was scared. I think I was probably like 10 or something. And anyway, I couldn't talk to my grandpa because I couldn't see him. He couldn't hear me, and I couldn't talk to my brother because it was dark. I couldn't do sign language.
Oh, yeah, stir crazy or what?
So we're just holding hands, and so in the morning, my dad. The next day he comes after lunch. That was how concerned he was.
Right.
How much did the hurricane move your house? Because you might have saved $5,000.
A lot. Well, it shook it, but it didn't tear it down.
That was the other house.
That was
Is that
the
Mr.
other
That
house.
was the other house.
Celia was the other house.
Got ruined in a hurricane.
So the wood that we got from that house is how we built the other house. He said, let's start building this house. And I said, well, Dad, I don't know how to build this house.
I think it's Mr.
Well,
Poe.
get under there and look.
Get under there and look.
That was the first assignment. Okay.
Who leased him the house?
Huh?
Who leased
Was it
him the
Mr.
house?
Pope?
Dan Meany.
Dan Meany. Okay, I
Oh,
wasn't
man.
sure.
Yeah, he has a dairy over there in Sandia.
And Dan Meany is like related to Mrs. Dunn.
Yeah.
Alice Dunn, right?
He was
The nephew. Okay.
They worked for two sisters that were his aunts.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
they had
Acres.
They had miles of property.
Acres.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had miles and miles of property.
Okay. I wasn't sure, but
Yeah.
the Dunn family.
And Dad would work sometimes for this millionaire, Mr. Pope, Star Pope. And I think we all got a
Yeah,
truck
we all did.
working there with my dad.
Yep.
But they had his wife was something else.
And there's another chapter of the book, right?
Yeah.
He'd take us over there and we're going to trim some trees because it was very wooded. And we'd go over there and she'd be out there and she told my dad, call him Shorty. And she said, okay, Shorty, only this much, 4 to 6 inches, no more. Trim every branch, 4 to 6 inches. And they were on 40 acres there. So we were out there trimming and they took turns trimming. And they had over 300 cats at one time.
200 cats?
300 cats. He couldn't stand, Mr. Pope could not stand cats. But because of her, they had them. And they named
It
every one
stunk.
of
It
those
stunk
Oh my
bad.
gosh.
And
I remember that
they would
stench.
feed 'em
Yeah, I
on-
remember.
Really?
Yeah.
It's
They
bad?
Yeah.
bought stainless steel pie plates to feed them in.
Yeah.
And they had a maid, and my dad and her and Tio Juan also sometimes would go there after work and wash the plates for the cats for the next meal.
It stunk.
And
Was it bad
Yeah, it was-
outside or inside?
Both.
He would
Not inside the house because she wouldn't allow them inside the house, but they had a wraparound porch, and so they had like cages or like some kind of a.
They had built a section like a hospital for the cats, where they had incubators. And
Yeah, it was bad. It
Oh, my
stunk.
Lord.
Yeah.
they had specific little beds for the mamas to have their cats.
Yeah, but what was good about that, there never was snakes around the house or anything like that.
No mice, rats.
Yeah.
There was a lot of
How
There were
did
a lot of rattlesnakes up
How did
there.
they keep track of them? They didn't, huh?
They did. They knew them. I don't know how, but they knew every cat.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Stop
and,
that.
and,
I don't know, snakes,
My dad would make
cats.
More like she knew, not him.
Yeah,
Maybe that's why I didn't like cats.
My
I
dad
Oh,
would
he
make
hated
fun
them.
of Mr. Pope because when he'd
Like
go
dogs.
get food for the cats, he'd get milk
Storytime.
and cat food, and he's a millionaire, right? So
Come
he'd
on
go to
in.
the store and he'd say, "Shorty, could you buy that for me? 'Cause I didn't bring cash."
Oh no.
So my dad would sign for the. It was funny to see him because they would bring out the total everything up, give him the receipt, he'd flip it over, and they gave him a pencil, and he had credit. So he'd take that pencil and go. It was real dramatic. the C was the first one he'd do like this, and then he'd go. He had a real good hand.
He had very nice penmanship.
For the G was like the General Mills G. It was really pretty.
Right on.
And I was telling him years later.
But he had to pay for it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
He paid for it then. He
Got
got
reimbursed.
Oh, he did get.
But it was funny. He said, "Me on that machine asking me for money." And he said, "Oh, but you know what? What's so sad about it? Mr. Pope is a measly millionaire. Lucille is a trillionaire."
Ah.
So he was. Had to second that.
I don't know about that. I mean,
Isn't that crazy?
It was funny.
they do have streets named after.
Yeah,
them,
the Lucille's dad, one of the streets, Buddy Lawrence, by the post office, main
Cat-
post office,
Cat
is named
Drive,
after her
Cat
dad.
Circle.
Cat Drive.
Cat drive.
Well, when she died, he had a veterinarian come in there and put them all to sleep.
Oh my
And
gosh.
So my
That's
dad
nasty.
and my uncle were out there, and they had to dig a grave for every cat,
Oh my god.
and they were paid like $25 per cat to dig the holes and make the crosses and
Nasty.
stuff.
Oh my.
Yeah, and they put
So
them all
whatever
to sleep.
happened to that property?
It wasn't Fred. He
They
cut the
they
cats
they
in
were
half.
it was in an industrial area, Rita, and so basically the city took it over, said you have to move your house or we're gonna take it over.
But
Corps-
Elton
Corps of
still lives
Engineers.
there.
And
Oh, see?
but now they have what they call Heritage Park,
Mm-hmm.
which is
They tore that house
downtown
Oh, well, they
and,
put the
and
houses
Corpus.
over
Yeah,
there.
historic.
They put
Joe
all
was telling me.
the houses that were like the one he's talking about downtown, and
No, but I
they
mean-
fixed them up and everything.
So the property became city property?
No, it went to the.
Industrial?
There's a nephew who lived next door to him,
Uh-huh.
and they gave the property to Todd, his son, and he moved the house to the historical district.
But it's not there no more. I mean they built those big oil tanks next to
Silos.
it, next to them. So it's like if you want to keep your house and live there, well, go ahead, but you're gonna have
This.
it's it's
Next to you.
The city tried to widen that street, McBride, and they lost against Mr. Pope.
Mm-hmm.
He had more
yeah.
money than-
Now the one that the lady he was talking about that sold my mom and my dad the house, she still has a house there, and it's across from the grain silos. It's huge.
It is.
It probably sits on maybe 50 acres, and then the rest the family was too old or whatever, and they just got rid of it. They got rid of the land.
They probably gave her that property.
Yeah, but they had thousands of acres.
Yeah, Mr. Pope was getting royalties from Standard Oil. He had worked for him for over 30 years, and he's the only one that knew where all the pipes were because there was no blueprints. So one year they actually asked him to go and tell them where they were so they could get it on record.
Yeah, because
He had journals of where they were at. He just
They did.
nobody else did.
I
Yeah.
was telling them that my desk when they said, "Hey, I saw he had all these ledgers, and there were 25, 30 ledgers," and he said, "Burn them," and I said, "Burn them." And, okay, so I was gonna burn them, but you know how curious and against the rules I was. So anyway, I had to read them first. So I read them and wow, I can't see burning this stuff. So it had plans for when they built the Harbor Bridge. And
Oh,
they
wow.
built things in the city, and the people that were involved were Roy Duggar was my, or the Little League. He was the one that founded put that Little League park, and I played 1 year there in Little League. So to me, it was important all that
Right.
information, and the road, Buddy Lawrence, when they named the street after her dad. And all that was in these ledgers. I said, why are they getting rid of them? I did burn them, but I didn't want to.
Oh, man.
It seemed like it was too
If you'd only had a camera at the time.
And one of the high schools, Roy Miller, was named after one of the guys in there.
Oh, man.
So there's so much stuff on there.
Mm-hmm.
That
What you
I
do
didn't
with
want
your
to burn.
time?
Yeah.
I had a lot to tell.
You should have kept them. You could have publicized them years later. Garcia Papers, Agapito, the Agapito Papers. They make movies.
Yeah.
Then I got to where I could tell some stories pretty good, except for my one English teacher. Out of all high school, only one English teacher caught me. Because when we would write essays and stuff, I would just go in the library, get the title of the book, and kind of read the back a little bit and wrote my own story.
Would you catch that, Joe?
This is not that story.
From a Garcia, it would have been suspected.
I always got a good grade, except the last teacher.
Last teacher.
You didn't get a good grade for reading, but they gave you a good grade for writing.
She said, that's plagiarism, but I didn't know what that meant. So
You went, oh, thank you.
Yes, it did very well. My mom
Crazy
says I'm
net.
well-rounded.
yeah, we had a grandma that was well-rounded.
Hey, Pete,
She was
Fred,
4 foot any way you looked at her.
You okay?
Fred always said that searching for the head of Alfredo Garcia was
The movie after him? Yeah.
Is that true?
I don't know.
That's what the auto mechanics teacher would, when I got to auto mechanics, he said the same thing.
He said he knew the guy. He said, "Give me the name of one of your."
He said he fixed his car and he said, we're making a movie and we need a title for it. You know anybody you might want the title? That's what he came up with.
Because that's a movie where Warren Oates is carrying the head of Alfredo Garcia around this bag.
Oh, wow.
I never saw them.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
nasty.
it's a nasty movie, man.
It's nasty because you hear
Yeah.
the flies buzzing around it all the time, and
Yeah.
they're, and they're out
Like-
in these places, they're all sweating and hot, and he's always carrying that bag around,
Gross, yeah, the
What
gross
movie
movie.
is that?
looking for the head of Alfredo Garcia.
That's in
Bring me the head
Bring
of
me the
Alfredo
head of
Garcia.
Alfredo.
Bring me.
Bring me the head. Of
Bring me
Alfredo
that.
Garcia. Don't bring the rest of them. Just the head.
Do it now.
No, we were pretty
Real
good.
low budget movie, that's for
Yeah.
sure.
I think all of us were pretty good in auto mechanics. Yeah. Later on, when I got to Del Mar, I was taking an auto mechanics class on the West Campus. And Felix, I don't know if you know Felix.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, Felix and I were taking that class. And another guy. And our first night there, they said, hey, we have some people over here graduating, but they didn't finish this job. Can you take it over? They can't get it to shift. It was a 64 Chevrolet. They can't get it to shift. And I said, okay. We went over there and looked at it, put it up on the lift, and we couldn't get it to work either. So I said, lower it a little bit so I could reach. So we got it down a little bit, and then I said, let's take this transmission off. So we took the transmission off and put it on the side there. And I looked at the clutch, and the clutch says this side towards flywheel. And that they're graduating. So anyway, we flipped that, took the clutch off, flipped it, put it back, put the transmission in there, and surprise, surprise, it worked.
Imagine that.
Did you tell him what it was, or you just keep it a secret?
No, we told him.
It was in Spanish.
We told him, and he
They
said,
said on the flywheel,
That's what
bring me
was
the
wrong with
head
it.
of Alfredo Garcia.
yeah. I said, that's what was wrong with it. I said, yeah. So then we got nicknamed the Plumbers.
Couple of them.
Because the next car we worked on was Felix's, and it was a Chevy 2. And they said, he said, I want to put a V8 in it. And the instructor said, there's no way that this car can only accept a 6-cylinder, a long block. And I said, well, if it's a long block, hey, we can put it in there between us.
We can
And
make
so
it.
he said, no, there's no way it fits. So we went and got the engine anyway. They were going to put it in there. And we brought it and we told the instructor. And we just want to just clean it up, paint it. So we did that. So when everybody went on the break. I went to the welding shop, got a torch, brought it over and cut into the chassis. Cut a hole because the starter would not fit. And then the hood wouldn't close. So I cut a hole on the top and made a scoop for it and everything.
Nice.
So then I welded a plate on the part that I had cut around the starter.
And that was a 30-minute lunch. If
Yeah.
you'd had
Yeah, We did it
An hour
fast.
lunch.
We did it fast.
Yeah. And so the instructor comes back and he said, I told you that didn't fit. And I said, I don't think it fits either. But anyway, he said, I don't know how you managed to put that in there. But he didn't know, we had already returned the torch and welder and everything. So he didn't know that how we had done it. So he just knew that the engine was in there. So anyway, so we finally get everything bolted and everything the next night. So Felix takes it out there and test drives it. He went to Mexico in it over the weekend. And so on the way back, he had hit something. I think the car was too low, or he went over tracks and it bent one of the lines on the brake. So he only had 3 wheels that would brake. So he says, what do I do? I said, well, crimp the line. So it doesn't, because it didn't bust, it just was distorted. So we bend it a little more so it wouldn't leak. And then, because it was barely leaking on that one. So he said, will it make it? I said, yeah, it'll make it. Just put duct tape or something on it. So we did. So on the way back, he puts on the brakes real fast at Old Brownsville Road there in Corpus, and it broke with the 3 wheels, so he spun around and hit a pole.
Oh my gosh.
So the next, we still drove it. So the next day, the next time we go to auto mechanics class, we tell him, we need to work on the brakes on this car. And he said, what about the dents? Yeah, we'll work on the dents too. So we got it fixed up. But because we had routed on that car, we had routed the water line. The radiator didn't fit, and of course we were always broke, so we couldn't afford to buy stuff. So we just rigged it up from one car to another, and we had rigged the water line to go all the way back and around. And the instructor said, oh, look at these plumbers. So from then on we were plumbers.
You're the plumbers.
Call the plumbers to work on this car. So we always did all the work on everything. The
Yeah.
people, when they had trouble with something, well, it hasn't worked, so call the plumbers.
Remember when Joe went down to Texas, Pete? This Joe? He says,
The air conditioner?
this the plumber. Anyway, he said that he took me down on a date, and he said, I asked her if she wanted to go look at stars.
Yeah.
And she's like, this guy's a pervert, I think. I don't know what's wrong with him. I think he wants to take me to go look at stars. Yeah, right. You know, but sure enough that he knew about all the constellations.
Oh, yes, he did.
And Venus is about love and all kinds of stuff. You remember that?
You couldn't see anything.
Oh, you couldn't see.
She didn't tell
It
me
was
that.
cloudy?
No, she couldn't see
see,
with
but
our
she didn't have her
glasses.
glasses.
So
Oh, you couldn't see?
I try to point out to her other stuff. Oh.
Oh, wow, cool.
I've had that same conversation with Joe. Oh, yes, Joe. Oh, yes, I see that.
So
you see Orion's belt? Yeah.
I don't even see his trousers.
Yeah, but I remember her saying something about, because I asked her how her and Joe met, and then that one of the dating, I guess, he took you out to go see stars.
Just said, taught her to make tortillas. Her first tortilla was in the shape of Texas.
Hey, and you laughed at us white people making them over. We'd come over and she'd make us all roll our own and then make fun of them.
So that's pretty creative to make it in that shape.
When he had dinner, when he ate food, he always wanted to drink something, have something to drink, like Kool-Aid or just something to drink. But I would forget sometimes. So he's like, and I'm like,
You're supposed to get the hint.
Yeah.
he always kept doing that, but it never registered. And he always told me, because that means you serve something to drink with dinner. So where's my Kool-Aid? A lot of it was Kool-Aid. And but I would always forget. But he was always going,
He still doesn't know.
Like I was choking.
Now he brings his own Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
That was funny because he taught me how to make tortillas. He told me because he wanted tortillas. I said, I don't know how to make tortillas. And he goes, well, I'm going to teach you. Like, so it took me a couple of tries, but I learned. So it was my mom that taught me.
Now you're like a machine. You're a tortilla making machine.
That's who invented Rosalinda's tortillas.
Yes.
Mom said,
Wait, I fell asleep.
Right in the corner.
Oh, and she was.
Mom said, if, as soon as you
Is it
guys
Gina's? Yeah.
chin
Okay.
touches the table, it's time for you to learn how to cook, iron, everything. But
You'll be
when,
charge of the
when
house.
Margie and I were in the first grade, she had us always iron our clothes and come show her, you know, for inspection. And our shoes had to be shined and we show them to her. Okay, or she'd go back and do it again. So we were ready the night before every day for school. And she inspected everything. I said, okay, it's 7 o'clock, lights out. We learned a lot from her.
That's borderline abusive.
Yeah, we learned that, didn't we?
We told them about borderline abusive when Jonathan was talking to that marriage counselor. Like, your mother is borderline abusive. And then John comes back and he's so proud to tell Nina that. She said you're borderline abusive, and she said, you had to go to someone to find out that? You could have just come and asked me.
At school, I would tell the teachers, yeah, we have 2 refrigerators, we have 2 houses, we have this and that. They thought my mom was running around. But Mom and Dad were out in West Texas, you know, working out in the fields and stuff, and we stayed with 2 aunts. That's what they didn't know.
I got lost in California with Nina and Maggie. It's like they forgot Ben. They forgot us
See
three.
the storyline?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that one's about Ben.
Interesting.
You were forgotten, Ben.
Your parents forgot you and Ben and Nina?
They forgot Nina, Maggie, and me in California. So we start walking down the highway,
Jeez.
and about,
How old were you?
I think I must have been like 8.
That was in Woodburn here.
Woodburn
In
here.
Oregon.
Was it here?
In Woodburn.
He still doesn't like Woodburn.
Oh, California was.
Yeah, I was the one that was left in
I
California.
was alright with it for a while. And they were over there, we were walking, and we're lost. They're never gonna find us. They're never gonna want to get us. And I was, okay. And then they start crying. We're walking.
Ben was too?
No, he
Oh.
was by himself.
Because Ben would be going, they're going to come back for me. They might not come back for you.
They were walking down the road, and Maggie and
They have to
Nina,
come back for Chulo.
Maggie and Nina, they're like walking and talking, and they're never gonna come get us. They don't want us, and this and that. Forgot about us, and then they start crying.
We have a history of that, though. It started with me.
How long were you out? Were you lost?
These two are crying. I'm
12
like,
years.
they're gonna come get us. They're gonna come get us. Another mile. They're never gonna come get us.
You said it too?
like the way.
Oh, heck, they're right. They're right.
They were coming.
They're never coming back.
You're lucky Maggie was with you because after a while they go, it sure is quiet back there. Did we forget something?
Yeah, my mom had said
So how long was it before they came and got you?
The highway patrol picked us up.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
And Fred wasn't there?
No.
I thought maybe that was the start.
I think it was during 2nd grade. We had gone to the movies at a drive-in, and I went to the bathroom. But on the way back, I was always listening in my place or where the car was. So I came back and got in the station wagon. And it looked like ours, but it was a black family. And I rode home with them and everything. And after we got home, I remember the black lady saying, "Where do you live?" I wouldn't talk, just pointed. But they followed my directions and took me home.
So you just climbed in the back and they didn't notice you?
No, just fit in with their kids.
Like
I was dark
movie,
too.
like the
Did you hear that, Tony?
He was
Did you
dark.
hear him? He said, I was dark too.
Oh.
He was dark.
In fact, in my little league picture, the only one year I played, we had a picture of the whole team, and other people that were my mom's friends would come over and she'd show them the picture. And they said, oh, it's a lot of white kids on there, and there's a Mexicano here. Who's the black kid?
That was you.
That was you.
You're dark, huh?
Yeah. Me and Julia and I get pretty dark.
Really dark.
Well, I get dark. Tennis, when I was playing tennis.
I just get red.
Simon was referring to when they left me in California. I think we had packed up. We were done for the season, and we were going back to Texas. And then they always would tell us, make sure you go to the bathroom before the trip. So I said, okay, I'm going to the bathroom. And there's so many of us that they had a camper like Ralph's and it just fit in the back.
Like Home Alone, they do that.
And I remember, hearing the truck turn on. I thought, oh my goodness, I think they're taking off. So I started running outside, and then I know Simon, Ralph, and I'm not sure who else, Fred. They were waving at me like, bye, bye. Instead of knocking on the camper, or something, hey, you got a kid behind. They're like, bye, see you later. And I was with my cousins,
Brotherly love.
Yeah, my parents took off. And I thought, like he said, I started crying and crying. My cousin, he had I don't know if it was a 20-inch bike, whatever. He says, get on, I'll catch up. Still enough time. So I get on his handlebars, and he's just pedaling away, and he literally gets probably as close as me to Elizabeth, and they're like, he's telling them, tell them to stop, and they're still like, bye, bye. They took off. I mean, they took off. I don't know. I'd say it was about 15 to 30 minutes before they realized, or I don't know how long it was.
Well, there used to be 18 kids in their family.
I mean, it was, for all I know, I could have been a California boy. They left me there. It sure was scary.
That would be scary because he's by himself, right?
Yeah.
At least when he was
That's what I told you. Look, you had it easy compared to us.
We had easy, yes.
We have 1,000 stories, oh my gosh, on that ranch. A lot of fun though, it was a blast. You gotta admit.
Margie and I used to work.
You got killed, but I had fun doing it.
When
The goats.
When we got to 4th and 5th grade, we would ride our bikes to school. And it was uphill all the way going to school, but in the afternoon it was nice to not even have to pedal because the wind was taking us down. We'd get home and we wanted to watch the Mickey Mouse Club, but my mom said, your dad's coming. Because at 4:30 he'd get home and we'd go work with him at the Missouri Pacific Railway. And it was my job to clean the cars of the debris in the doorway. And I had a ladder, a sledgehammer. I was weighing 45 pounds then. And all the stuff that I carried, I know totaled more than me. And I had to do the accounting. And my dad said, make sure you get the numbers right, because we get paid by this. Okay. Little kids don't do that anymore. Anyway, I had my aunts were always saying, it gives them an adult's responsibility. And so we got paid 50 cents for those boxcars. But Margie worked with my dad, and they would be cleaning the stuff on the car. And my dad would always take the last board off the walls and grain. It was grain on the walls. So we bagged that and would sell that. So Margie was helping him do that. I was glad because he didn't like me too well because I was spoiled by my great grandmother. But then I finished what I was doing and came back and helped him. And then he said, okay, carry these sacks to the car. The car was up on the hill about maybe 20 feet or something. I had to go and I actually made one Saturday, Margie and I made steps so I could climb, because before I was rolling those sacks up to the car. And she said, let's do the steps. So we were doing steps every, 50 or 100 feet, so that I could have the sacks on me. They weighed 100 pounds, but I only weighed 45, so I was carrying them up there and grabbing onto weeds and stuff to get it on the car. and then we'd take it home. And sometimes they'd leave Margie and I there, and he'd say, so-and-so's coming, and he wants 200 sacks. And okay, so load them up for him, sell it to him. And okay, so this man would come, and we already had the sacks filled, and so when we got them from the boxcars, we still had the duty of taking them home, and we had this 55-gallon barrel. They would put like hardwood cloth on it, so that we could take that grain, and with the wind clean it. The nails and stuff would stay on top, and clean grain would be in the barrel, and that's what we bagged to sell. So that was our job after school. So anyway, he says one day, this Saturday, so-and-so is going to come and he wants 200 sacks. I said, okay. So we couldn't reach the truck, so the man would leave the truck there for us, and he said, I'll come back in about 3 hours. So Margie and I would have to roll sacks up to the truck and make steps. So,
Oh my
so that we could roll the sacks onto this level, to this level, to this level to get it on the truck.
On top of the big truck.
So we did that until we got all the 200 sacks on there. And the man would say, okay, here's the money. And we never knew if it was right or not. We just took it.
Just take the money that he gives you.
Yeah, and then we said, okay, here, Dad. Here it is. Well, how much is it? I don't know. That's what he left. He said, okay. So we had that duty and also sell eggs. So we sold eggs. We had a bunch of chicken. So we sold eggs. People would come over and my mom said, remember, it's 3 dozen for $1. I said, okay. I said, well, why do they only want 2 dozen? No, tell them we only sell 3 dozen.
That's $1 also. We didn't want to do the math.
Yeah. So we had it easy there.
Did Ben tell you when he went to the Baptist church with one of his friends? He was
I got home and I couldn't pronounce ambassador. I don't know how old I was. I was probably
9.
9. But my mom and dad always had somebody over, and I went up to my mom, and so anyway,
One of their teachers took them to the church.
says, hey, I said, Mom, I'm part of a group now, and oh yeah, what's the name of the group? I said, well, and pardon the words, but I said, I'm a royal bastard. She said, what? I said, I'm a royal bastard, Mom, and I'm a page, and Simon's a squire, and I think Ralph's a knight. They said, oh yeah, go tell your dad. Go tell your dad, see what he thinks. Well, my dad's with all his drinking buddies and everything, and I said, Mom, Dad told me to come over here and tell you. Dad, Mom told me to come over here and tell you I joined this club. It's awesome.
From the church.
Yeah. He said, oh yeah. I said, yeah, I'm a royal bastard, Dad. He said, what? And all his friends are just cracking up. He said, oh, see? I said, yeah, Dad, I'm a royal bastard. So, even to now, they won't let me live that down. I didn't know what I was saying, but it was hilarious.
The royal ambassadors.
It's a royal ambassador, RAs. And anyway, it's in Baptist church. It was pretty cool.
Bastages.
Yeah.
Little Johnny Dangerously.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I didn't know, man. I didn't know what that was. Even now, they give me a hard time about it. Hey, anyway.
Yeah, those family stories
Oh,
sometimes
man.
they live on in infamy.
But you just introduced the royal bastard to a whole new group of people.
Yeah, no, I did. Oh, yeah.
By yourself.
You did it.
I didn't bring it up. Simon brought it up. I wasn't about to. I was like, I'm
They're
not
gonna
bring
go
it up.
back to Iowa. He's the royal bastard. Benny.
Huh? You want to sit up?